The Oz book series is full of interesting lore that I think would make for some neat adaptations, particularly video games. Unfortunately, we rarely get to see anything like that beyond what was used in the MGM film, or otherwise used from the first book. Still, I'm always interested in finding new Oz-inspired works, and with the recent success of the Wicked movie, I thought this would be a good time to talk about Oz-based hack and slash. The story of Etheria, also known as Oz in Japan, was developed and published by Konami. Despite being named after an American book, the game was only released in Japan and Europe. The story follows a boy named Phil, who looks like a younger Dante from Devil May Cry. Seriously, don't tell me he doesn't look like a 15-year-old Dante. He lives in a small village with his little sister Dorothy and her cat Toto, who I think they might have confused with the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. One day, Dorothy is kidnapped by an envoy of the gods, and Phil sets off on a journey to rescue her. He's soon accompanied by two companions named Leon and Almira, who were once two members of an elite trio of envoys known as Oz. They then quickly learn that the gods are draining the planet's energy source called Etheria, and hoard the power for themselves. And so, things get a lot more personal. The gameplay is fast-paced and action-oriented, as to be expected from a hack and slash. After striking an enemy enough times, they'll become stunned, which is indicated by stars floating above their heads. Once stunned, you're then able to juggle them in the air. What makes things interesting, though, is the involvement of your party members. After stunning an enemy, you can toss them towards a party member, which will trigger a series of attacks in which everyone throws the enemy around like a hacky sack. With precise timing, you can chain multiple attacks in a row and raise the tension gauge. When that gauge fills to a certain point, you'll be able to execute a powerful attack called a death blow. Rinse and repeat until all the enemies are dead. Eventually, you'll also have the option to play as different characters, who have their own unique attack styles and death blows. Getting a good synergy with your party is absolutely essential, whether you're tearing through enemy hordes or fighting against a boss. In fact, building up tension and continuously using death blows is necessary when it comes to boss battles. If you get knocked down in battle, you'll be able to wait it out until your health is partially restored, and rapidly pressing X will recharge it faster. If all three party members have fallen though, then it's game over. To assist you in combat, you can have Toto create and equip items in the main menu screen between chapters. In order to craft these items, you'll need Etheria, which are gold orbs you'll obtain by defeating enemies. You'll also be rewarded bonus Etheria if you get a good ranking at the end of a chapter. It's a good idea to upgrade your characters regularly, because this game is tough. I even started playing on easy mode so I could get enough footage in time, and even then I had my fair share of struggles. Still, it's not an unfair kind of difficulty, just one that requires a decent level of skill and familiarity with the mechanics. That also happens to be what makes the game so satisfying and fun. It's already very entertaining to chain combos and toss your enemies around like a feed salad, and having two other people joining in is an interesting way to shake things up. While the controls are a bit repetitive and lacking the variety of something like DMC, you'll definitely be engaged by making sure you and your team are working efficiently. Presentation-wise, you'll be fighting your way through a variety of environments. While they look diverse, they aren't particularly detailed or complex, so don't expect Capcom quality level design. The character portraits are nice to look at though, and the designs of the main characters are pretty distinct. I also think the designs for the gods are pretty cool as well. As mentioned earlier, this game takes inspiration from The Wizard of Oz. But what exactly does that include, besides Dorothy, Toto, and the name Oz? Well, the three party members you'll be following are based off of Dorothy's three companions. Leon is pretty obviously meant to be the Cowardly Lion. Phil is meant to be the Tin Man, since you see him with the woodcutter's axe at the beginning of the game, which evolves into the weapon he uses. That leaves Almira being the Scarecrow by default. She does use a polearm, so there's that. However, she also kind of sees Wicked Witch of the West inspired, with her eye patch just like in the book, as well as her general witch-like design. So is this the Oz-based game I've been looking for? Not really. Because the references to Oz lore ends there. I guess if you really want to grasp at straws, the level 3 Deathblow attack features a rainbow, and Almira's Deathblow with Phil is a tornado. But again, I think that's really pushing it. The enemies are repetitive in appearance and don't resemble any kind of foes seen in the Oz books, and just have Latin-based names. Even the narrative isn't very Oz-like. It's a pretty standard Japanese fantasy story, where the bonded heroes have to defeat the evil gods. There are no yellow brick roads, emeralds, silver shoes, or anything related to that. Take away any references to the Oz characters that are there, and you really won't be missing anything. Playing this game, though, made me think of Lies of P. It too is a game based off of a classic tale. It takes a darker turn on it. However, it also uses various characters and references from the Pinocchio story. It has them utilized in some very interesting and creative ways. It's a kind of inspiration that I'd like to see done with Oz lore. Hopefully we'll get to see something like that sooner rather than later. But while Sword of Etheria isn't quite the Oz game that I was hoping for, it's still a very fun game in its own right. The three-person team mechanic with hack-and-slash gameplay is pretty unique and enjoyable, and I haven't seen it done quite like that before. I feel like it could have easily not gone very well with its AI companions, but it actually works great. It makes you want to use teamwork as much as possible. A lot of players in Japan seem to think so too, as it received a Konami the Best label re-release. It's a shame that North American gamers weren't able to experience it, as well as the fact that I haven't seen this kind of teamwork-based hack-and-slash gameplay anywhere else. I think that this kind of gameplay can be expanded upon and played with in some interesting ways. So while this might not be a very good Oz game, it is a pretty fun game for fast-paced action enthusiasts. Still, here's hoping that one day we'll get a Lies of P-esque adventure down a yellow brick road. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to click like, and subscribe if you want to see more.